Welcome back to our deep dive into 100 flowers.
So, last time we left off, Wei had finally made it to Luoyang, ready to see his son Sheng at the re-education camp. Remember, Sheng took the fall for that letter, criticizing the party, the one Wei actually wrote. So the tension is thick,
Oh, for sure.
Like, will Sheng even want to see him after all this?
Right.
And what will this camp have done to him? It's a scary thought.
Yeah, and the setting just adds to that. The room where they meet is stark. Cold, no windows.
Oh, wow.
A world away from their home in Guangzhou.
It's like a physical representation of the distance between them, not just the miles, but emotionally too.
Yeah.
Because of what Wei did.
Exactly. And there's this one detail that really got to me.
Okay.
The description of this deep gouge carved into the table.
Oh.
Wei sees it as representing the Yellow River, this powerful symbol of China's history.
Right. But he also sees it as an act of defiance.
Exactly. Even in this place designed to crush people, someone found a way to resist, leave their mark.
Yeah. It makes you think, how do people hold on to hope in a place like that?
It's a question Tsukiyama explores throughout the whole book. It's not about big gestures.
Right.
It's those small acts of resilience that keep you going.
And then finally, Sheng walks in. But he's not the same vibrant guy Wei remembers.
Like, he's thinner, his head shaved. You can just see how the camp has changed him.
It's heartbreaking. Tsukiyama doesn't shy away from describing those scars.
Yeah.
The ones left by being persecuted.
No, she doesn't. But even though he's changed, there's still that flicker of recognition in Sheng's eyes when he sees Wei.
Oh.
He just says, Baba, you're really here. Simple as that.
I bet that was loaded with emotion.
Oh, it was. You could feel the love, the hurt, the confusion all in that one sentence. They do talk, but it's subdued. Lots of silences, like they're both avoiding the truth of what happened.
Yeah, the betrayal, the sacrifice.
Right. It's almost too much to handle head on.
But you can tell they've forgiven each other. Like they understand they're both just trying to survive this mess.
Definitely. It shows how strong their bond. There is nothing to really break that father-son connection.
And as their time's ending, Sheng gives Wei a letter for Kai Ying.
Ah, yes. Filled with longing for home, his family, her real tearjerker.
That letter becomes this beacon of hope, a physical link to the life he left behind.
Absolutely. A reminder that even in the darkest times, love can survive.
So Wei leaves the camp with all these mixed emotions, relieved to see Sheng alive,
Right?
but also knowing he's still a prisoner.
Yeah.
And he's got this precious letter to deliver.
It's like his mission now.
A way to maybe make things right and give Kai Ying some hope.
Exactly. And while he's on his way back, wife in Guangzhou goes on for Kai Ying, Tao, and Suyin. But if even easy, Kai Ying's dealing with not knowing anything about Wei or Sheng. She tries to keep things normal for Tao. But you can see the worry is eating her up inside.
It even mentions how she's barely sleeping. Like the stress is taking a physical toll.
It shows that even the strongest people have their limits.
Yeah.
And this is where Suyin steps in.
Really?
Yeah, she supports Kai Ying, helps with chores, takes care of Tao. It's pretty amazing when you think about it.
It is. This woman who is a complete stranger is now so important to them. It shows how compassionate Kai Ying is, opening her home even when she's struggling herself.
Absolutely. It just seems resilience, too. She's running from her past, but she's trying to build a new life, find a place she belongs.
And they bond over this shared hardship, finding comfort in each other, kind of like a united front against all the craziness.
Exactly. And while the adults are dealing with all that, Tao has his own challenges. He's back in school, but he's still dealing with the effects of his fall. And of course, his dad and grandfather being gone weighs heavily on him.
There's this one part that really stuck with me. When Tao asks his mom to tell him stories about her life before she met his dad.
I remember that. It's like he's looking for a connection, something stable in all this chaos.
Yeah, he wants to understand his mom better, see her as more than just his mom.
Exactly. And her stories are so different from the ones Wei and Sheng would tell.
How so?
They're simpler, more about everyday life. They reflect her practicality, how she focuses on surviving and providing for her family.
It's a good reminder that even when everything's falling apart, there's beauty in the ordinary stuff, the small things that connect us to the people we love.
And as Suyin learns more about herbal medicine from Kai Ying, this really cool dynamic forms, Sim's a natural healer, and Kai Ying sees that. She even gives Suyin a pouch of pearls.
Really?
Yeah, to represent the time it'll take her to master the basics of herbal work.
Wow. That's a pretty significant gesture.
It is. It shows how much Kai Ying trusts him. And it symbolizes passing knowledge down to the next generation.
Even in the midst of everything, she's nurturing someone else. There's a sense of hope in that, like believing in a better future.
Definitely. Meanwhile, Wei is heading back to Guangzhou, carrying the weight of everything he's been through, and that hope embodied in Sheng's letter.
So the train journey back becomes this metaphor for his own internal journey.
Exactly. He's processing it all, dealing with his guilt, trying to figure out how to move on.
Like he's stuck between the past he regrets and the unknown future.
Yeah. And when he finally gets back to Guangzhou, there's Kai Ying waiting for him at a kapok tree.
The kapok tree, it's been there for all of it. Their joys and sorrows, their strength through all the hardship.
It's a reminder that life goes on even when it feels like everything's falling apart.
So Wei's back. He sees Kai Ying waiting by that kapok tree. It's got to be such a heavy moment after everything.
Oh, absolutely. That tree's seen it all, right? All their ups and downs, their struggles. It's like a silent witness to their story. And now it's the setting for this big reunion.
And Wei's carrying that letter from Sheng, that connection to their son who's still locked up. You can practically feel the weight of that letter.
You know, it's more than just a letter. It represents hope, love surviving through all that hardship. Just the fact that Sheng could write those words, express how much he misses them, it shows how strong he is.
Yeah. For Kai Ying, reading that letter must have been everything, like a lifeline. Proof that Sheng was still holding on, still hoping to come home someday.
Tsukiyama doesn't actually tell us how she reacts, but you can imagine, right? All the relief, sadness, love, and that feeling of needing to keep going for him.
It shows how powerful words can be, bridging those huge gaps,
Yeah.
offering comfort when things are really dark.
Then for Wei, I think giving with that letter was his way of trying to make things right.
Yeah, like handing over a piece of his heart,
Yeah,
trusting her with it. And in a way, it's a step towards healing their relationship.
right.
So the family, even though they're not whole, they start finding a new rhythm, figuring out life with this mix of hope and uncertainty. And through it all, Suyin keeps growing. It's amazing how she went from a stranger to this vital part of their family.
It is. She found where she truly belongs. Her oboe skills are blossoming, and she really connects with Tarl, who's still struggling, you know?
Right. With his dad and grandfather gone. I remember this one scene. Tao asks Wei to tell him a story about the moon, even though there's no moon that night.
Oh, yeah. That's such a telling detail. It shows how much Tao needs comfort, connection, something normal in this crazy world.
Like he's asking Wei to create a world for him where they can escape, at least for a bit.
Yeah. And Wei gets it. He tells him the story, all that wonder and adventure, reminding Cal that even in the darkest times, there's always a bit of light.
It shows how powerful love is, how important it is to have people around you, especially during hard times.
And the book ends on this quiet, hopeful note. It doesn't sugarcoat things about life in China under Mao, but it also highlights how strong people can be, how they find ways to cope, to adapt, to find joy in the little things.
Right. That kapok tree, standing tall, it's like a symbol of that. The strength of family, the hope for better days.
Absolutely. And through it all, Tsukiyama reminds us that even in the toughest situations, there's still beauty, compassion, and that strength to keep going.
So for anyone just picking up 100 flowers, this deep dive is giving you a good look at what's inside.
It's one of those stories that stays with you, make you think about family, resilience, and finding hope in a world that can be pretty dark.
Well, we hope you enjoyed this journey into 100 flowers.
We did.
Keep exploring, keep learning. We'll see you on the next deep dive.